Everyone, in this class we are going to solve another past paper of variant 22 May June 2025. Okay, so let's start with the first question. What we have in this: which instrument is most suitable to determine the volume of a small irregular shape object? Whenever they say irregular shape object, we need measuring cylinder for it. Okay. And second question, a steel ball is dropped from the top floor of a building. Air resistance can be ignored. Okay. This statement describes the motion of the ball. So whenever the air resistance is ignored, the acceleration will be constant. Okay. And the next question, the diagram shows a velocity time graph for an object which is accelerating. What is the acceleration of the graph? So in velocity time graph, slope represents acceleration. So you have to choose any 2 points on a straight line. So the easiest points are, I can choose this one and I can choose this one. For this, I have to look at this will be the y1 and here this is the x1. So y1 is 20, x1 is 0, and this point here, this is the x2, that is 40, and this point will be y2, that is 120. So acceleration will be equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. y2 is 120 minus y120 divided by 40 minus 0, that will give you 100 over 40, and that thing will give you 2.5. That's option B. Okay, moving to the next question. Diagram shows a piece of flexible material that contain many pockets of air. Diagram 2 shows the same piece of flexible material after it has compressed so that the volume is decreased. What happened to the mass and weight of the object? Okay, mass is the quantity of the matter, so it does not depend on the volume. Okay, so if you're squeezing it, changing its shape, if the quantity of matter is same, the mass will be same. So you have to choose between C and D, and we know weight is equals to m into g. Mass is not changing, g is not changing, so weight will also not change. So this is option D, that is correct. Okay. And the next question, a student determines the density of copper. She has a rectangular block of copper. Which other apparatus does she need? Okay, so what we have rectangular block. So this is a regular shape object. And we know density is mass over volume. For mass, you need the balance. And for regular shape object, you need scale to find its dimension, or you can say you need ruler. So it's option C, that is correct. We don't need the stopwatch, we don't need the thermometer. Question 6, we have a mass 0.15 kg is suspended from the vertical spring. The mass is pulled downward until the spring has extension. This is the extension x, and from its unstretched length the spring constant is given, that is k. What is the magnitude of initial acceleration when it is released? So first, this is in centimeter converted into the meters. So 12 divided by 100, that will give you 0.12 meters. Okay, so Hooke's law, we have F is equals to kx, but we have to find acceleration. So we have another relation from Newton's second law, F is equals to ma. You can equate both equation, you will get ma is equals to kx. So a is equals to kx divided by m. K we have 30, x we have 0.12, and m we have 0.15. When you do the calculation, you get the answer 14 meter per second square. Okay, option A. In question 7, a cricket ball of mass 0.15 kg is moving at a speed of 30. Okay, the diagram shows a batsman holding a bat stationary as the ball hits the bat and bounces back at the same speed in opposite direction. So if this you take positive, because the direction is opposite, the final velocity will be taken as negative. Okay, this is the convention. Okay, you can take, if you take v positive, then u will be negative. Okay, just to show the direction. So the ball is in contact with that much time, you have the time as well. Okay, so why I'm taking the sign, because we need the velocity. Momentum depends on the velocity. Momentum does not depends on the speed. So we have to tell the change in momentum and we have to tell the force. So for the change in momentum, delta P, we know it is mv minus mu. So m is 0.15, v we have minus 30 minus 0.15 into 30. This thing will give you, okay, this is 0.15 into this thing, 0.15 into 30 will give you 4.5. This is minus 4.5, this is minus 4.5. So minus minus, they will be added up, minus 9.0 kg meter per second. Okay, change is change, whether it's positive or negative. So you get this C or D, you have to choose one of them. So we have to find force. We know force is rate of change of momentum. Change of momentum is 9, time you have 1.0, 10 raised to power minus 3, you will get 9,000. It's option D, that is correct. Moving to the next question. A stone is thrown vertically upward with the speed of this. All of the energy initially in the kinetic store of the energy is transferred to the gravitational energy as it reaches the maximum height. Which equation gives the maximum height reached by the stone? Okay, this is the velocity. So let's suppose this is the object. At this point it have energy, that is kinetic energy. It's equals to half mv square. Okay, it's reaching the maximum height at this point. It have a energy, that is GPE, that is equals to mgh. And they have told in the question that loss of kinetic energy is equals to gain of gravitational potential energy. So how much energy will be lost in terms of kinetic? That much. And how much potential it is gaining? mgh. Because at this point potential is 0 and at this point kinetic is 0. So you can write it as 1 by 2 mv square is equals to mgh. This m can cancel out with m and h can be written as v square divided by 2g. So v we have 5 and g we have 9.8. So it's option D, that is correct. Sorry, it's option C, that is correct. Okay, 5 for this. In question 9, 3 energy sources are listed. Which resources get their energy from the sun? Okay, what you have to keep in mind, there are 3 sources, those are not getting energy from the sun. One is the geothermal, the second one is a nuclear, and the third one is a tidal energy. Okay, so there is only wind that is taking energy from the sun. So it's option D, that is correct. In question 10, a sample of a substance has a shape that is determined by its container. What are the possible states of this sample? Okay, so if you remember the states of matter, liquid will adopt the shape of the container, gases will expand as the container will be, and they occupy all of the volume of the container. Solid will not change its shape. So it's the gas and the liquid that can adopt the shape of the container. A stationary smoke particle is hit by a fast moving nitrogen molecule. Which row describes the motion of the smoke particle and of the nitrogen molecule after the collision? Okay, so if there is some smoke particle and there is some nitrogen molecule that is going to hit it, this thing is stationary. Okay, and nitrogen is going to hit that thing. So what can happen? Achha, smoke particle will remain stationary, it's not possibility, it will start moving. So you have to choose between A and B. And what can happen? It will rebound, okay, to conserve the momentum. It's option A, that is correct. Because momentum before collision and after collision, it should be balanced. In question 12, a bubble of gas rises from the bottom of the lake to the top. and the table shows the reading of the pressure and the volume. You have to tell which row is not correct. Okay, so as we know, pressure into volume remain constant. So as the bubble is rising, the pressure will change, the volume will change, but their multiple should remain same. Okay, so let's work it out for this thing. What we get, 360 into 2.4, you will get 864. There we have 270 into 3.2, that is equals to 864. When you solve this one, 160 into 4.6, you will also get, no, you are getting different answer, 736. And when you solve this one, 120 into 7.2, this is 864. So only this one is different from all of them. So this is wrong. Okay, so you have to choose the not correct one. In question 13, the diagram shows a glass flask sealed with a small volume of mercury in a glass tube. When the flask is gently warmed, the mercury rises up to the tube. What is the main cause of the movement of the mercury? When you heat the mercury, it will expand. That is the reason why it will go up. Very simple question. Okay. The diagram shows the equipment used in experiment to determine the specific heat capacity of the metal. In this experiment, heater is switched on for this time and temperature changes that much. And which equation gives the specific heat capacity? Okay. So there are, all the options are given in terms of P. P is the power. The relation we know basically is C is equals to E divided by M delta theta. But we have the option in terms of power, so we have to check the relation of energy and power. Energy is equals to power multiplied by time. So you can put that thing here. So you will get its option B, that is correct. Okay. In the next question, the diagram shows 4 rods. Each rod is made up of different metals. Wax is used to attach the rod. Okay, and each rod is of the same size. They are heated uniformly by the Bunsen burner. There is a Bunsen burner, okay? And as the rod warm up, the wax melt and the balls fall off. Why does the ball on the silver rod falls first? When you heat at this point, there is a wax, let's suppose. So heat will transfer from this to there. There. More quickly, heat transfer in a good conductor. So if the ball is falling from the copper, it's mean copper is the good conductor, right? So, sorry, they're talking about silver. If the ball is first falling from the silver is a good conductor. So it's option A. 3 solid copper sapphire X, Y, and Z are heated with the same temperature. Which row gives the order for the rate of emission of radiation? We know good absorbers are the good emitter and black is a good absorber. So, and its diameter is also greater. Surface area and the color matters the most, right? So no doubt X will be the highest. Okay. Then you have to see they both are of the white color. So the one with the greater diameter will emit more radiation. Then second is Z and the third is Y automatically. So it's option B, that is correct. X, Z, Y. Which wave will diffract the most when passing through a gap of this? So gap is already given. Diffraction depends on 2 things, gap and second is the lambda. And we know from the equation V is equals to F lambda. So lambda will be equals to V over F. If you need maximum lambda, right? For maximum diffraction, because they are directly proportional. So this V should be maximum. This frequency should be minimum. So if you see, these are the maximum speeds and this is the minimum frequency. So it's option C in which both the conditions are satisfied. Okay, you will get the maximum wavelength and there will be a maximum diffraction. Which arrow on the graph shows the amplitude? It's very easy. It's option B. Amplitude is always made from the mean position till the extreme position of the wave. Which row describe a seismic S wave? Okay, seismic S waves are the transversal waves, and in transversal wave, particle move perpendicular. Seismic P-type waves are the longitudinal wave. Okay, you have to keep in mind. The image of an object is formed by the plane mirror. Which row gives the correct properties of the image? Image will be virtual and it will be of the same distance. Okay, that you also have to memorize. In the 21, a ray of light travel in the air, incident rays shown and whole scenario is shown, and you have to tell the correct formula. Refractive index is basically we have relation from the Snell's law, n is equals to sine I over sine R. So what they have done, angle is always measured with the normal. This dotted line is showing you the normal. Okay, so this is the incident angle, not the 50. So if this is 50, this total is 90, so this I will be 90 minus 50, that is 40. Okay, same as this is the refracted angle, that will be equals to 64 minus 90, that will give you 26. So this should be sine of 26 over sine of, sorry, I is 40 over 26. Okay, so it's option A that is correct. In the next question, a small object is placed near a converging lens. The lens form an image I. Which statement is correct? The image is diminished. The image I is inverted. The image is I is real. It's not real. It's not inverted because it's shown. If you see, the actually light is diverging. Okay, so the real image will not be made. Real image will be formed only when the light is actually meeting. You see, you have extended these light rays with a dotted line. So image will be virtual, and virtual image is always upright. So the object is closer to the lens than the principal focus. Yes. If you remember the case of magnifying glass, in even magnifying glass, you place the object at a less distance than the focal point. Okay, so whenever the object is placed in a converging lens less distance than a focal point, the image will be virtual, it is enlarged. Okay, so that is the condition. It's not small, it will be enlarged, it will not be inverted, it will be upright, and it will be virtual. Okay, what is the approximate speed of light in air? That is option C. Pretty easy question. In question 24, a ship sends an ultrasound pulse to the seabed to measure the depth. The speed is given. The pulse take time 4.6 to travel toward the seabed and back to the ship. You have to find the depth. Let's suppose this is the surface, this is the seabed, and there is some ship. Sorry for my diagram. So let's suppose if this is the wave traveling there, it's going and then it will reach back. So depth is one-sided difference. You have to find this d. Okay, and the wave is traveling double the distance than the depth. Okay, because it's going towards the seabed then coming back, and you have that total time. So if you have to find first distance traveled, by wave, for distance you have a simple relation, speed multiplied by time. That will give you speed is 1500, time is 4.6 second, and for the d you have to divide this thing, whatever answer you're getting from this, by 2 to get the d, and you will get 3500. Okay, it's option C. You will nearly get this answer. Okay. In 25, a dolphin has a range of audible frequency 150 to 150,000. Which range of frequency can be heard by both the human and the dolphin? Okay, so for the dolphin, range is 150 till 150,000 hertz. Okay, so for the humans, range is different that you have to memorize. It is from 20,000. Sorry, it's from 20 to 20,000 hertz. Okay, you can draw it like this. 20,000 is less than 150,000, right? This is for the humans. So what we can hear both, that is the range in this region. And what is this region? It is from 150 to 20,000. Okay, so option D. Okay, that is correct. Moving forward to the next question. A positively charged balloon is placed against a wall. The charge makes the balloon stick to the wall. Which statement explain this? Okay, if the balloon is positively charged, so negative charge can help to stick with the wall. So positive charge on the balloon attract electron in the wall. Yes. Okay, this can be the case. 27. A student is trying to determine the resistance of a lamp. He sets up the incorrect circuit. Which change would allow him to take the measurement needed to calculate the resistance? We know from the Ohm's law R is equals to V over I. You have to measure the voltage and the current. You can see clearly this voltmeter is attached incorrectly. This should be parallel with the resistance. Okay, so it's option D that is correct. A metallic wire, X has a resistance. What is the difference in resistance for the wire of the same material as X, that is shorter in length in one but the same diameter, and the same length as X but the smaller diameter? Okay, what you need to keep in mind, R is directly proportional to the length and R is inversely proportional to the area, or you can say R is inversely proportional to the diameter square. Okay, so if shorter than X, if length is shorter than X, its resistance will also be less, and if the length is same but diameter is smaller, it will also, the one with the smaller diameter will have more resistance. Okay, so in one case the resistance will be smaller and in one case it should be greater, so it's option C. Okay. In question 29, the diagram shows a circuit of potential divider. Which equation is used to calculate V1? Okay, there are two formulas for the potential divider. One is for with respect to this one, the input voltage, and one is used for these two voltages. Okay, so that one was the ratio. If you remember that V1 over V2 ratio of voltages will be equals to ratio of resistances. So if you check closely, the B is correct, because you can rearrange this thing in this form. This V2 will go there and R1 over R2. This will make exactly that thing. In question 30, which electrical device is used to convert AC into DC? It's a pretty easy question. It's diode. A cell is connected to a parallel combination of 2 ohm resistor and 4 ohm resistor. The current in 4 is 1. What is the current in the cell? Okay, so there is a total current coming from there. And when current reach at this point, current have two choices. It can go there and it can move at this point. So current is inversely proportional to resistance. If you see there is a resistance 4, there is a resistance 2. Where the resistance is double, the current will be half. And where the resistance is half, the current will be double. So there will be a current 2 times of the current going downward. Okay, so if this is I, so this can be 2 into 1, that is equals to 2 ampere. So 2 ampere is here, 1 ampere is here. So this current should be equals to 3 ampere, because that is the total current that is coming. Okay, so it's option D that is correct. In the next question, when there is an electric current in a long straight wire, magnetic field is created. Which diagram shows the correct pattern? Okay, you have to use right hand thumb rule. Okay, the thumb will point towards the direction of the current. So current is inward into the page, cross shows into the page, right? So there are two options that you will shortlist, option B and option D. They both are showing the clockwise rotation. Okay, now what we have to choose, we see as you move away from the wire, the electric field or the magnetic field, sorry, it will reduce, its strength will reduce. So separation should increase. Okay, so in B the separation is increasing and in D the separation is decreasing. So B is correct. When you move away from the wire, the separation between the magnetic field lines should be increasing, not decreasing. Okay. In question 33, the primary voltage supplied is given. This is Vp that you have. The secondary voltage is given. The secondary current is given. Transformer is 100% efficient. What is the primary current in the, you have to find Ip. So if 100% efficient, it's mean input power, that is power is Vp Ip, should be equals to the output power, that is Vs Is. You have to find Ip. So IP is Vs over Is divided by Vp. You have to put the values. Vs is 5, Is is 2, and Vp is 3. This is 10 divided by 3, that will 3.33. Okay, it's option C that is correct. In question 34, when a thin gold foil is bombarded with alpha particles, some alpha particles are deflected through large angles. Which statement explains this thing? Okay, so if you remember, if it was a diagram like this in Rutherford experiment, and there was a particle that was coming close to the nucleus and it was deflected like this. So this thing is clearly showing the repulsion, and this particle was alpha. Alpha is positive, so positive can be repelled by the positive thing. So this shows that the central part is positively charged, and we know most of the mass is concentrated at the center, so at a very small area. Okay, so it's option B that is correct for this scenario. Okay, a detector near a radioactive source shows a reading of that much value. How is the corrected count rate determined? If you have to find the corrected count rate from this, you have to subtract, or you can call take away the background radiation. So it's option D that is correct. Which statement about alpha, beta, gamma is not correct? Alpha particles are deflected most in the electric field. No, they are not most. Let's suppose if there is positive plate and there is a negative plate, you throw alpha and beta into this, the beta will deflect more. Sorry, it should be towards this side. Alpha will deflect less. Why? It has more mass. So more massive thing will be have more inertia. Okay, so it will deflect less as compared to the beta. So A is the incorrect that you have to choose. 37, a sample of a radioactive material has a half-life of 20 minutes. Which statement is correct? After 30 minutes, less than half of the material have decayed. No, more than half will be decayed. After 40, all of the radioactive, no, not 40, 75% will be decayed. After 60 minutes and 1/8 of the, okay, in 60 minutes, 60 divided by 20 give you 3 half-lives will be passed. So n will be divided by 2, 3 times, it's n by 8. So it's option C that is correct. Okay. In question 38, which statement is correct? The Earth orbits the Sun approximately in 24 hours north, that is in 365 days. The Earth orbits the Moon once in approximately a week north. Earth is not orbiting the Moon. Moon is orbiting the Earth. Okay. The Moon orbits the Earth approximately in 1 month. Yes, it's approximately 1 month. Okay. Second, this is wrong. The Sun is not orbiting the Earth. Okay. Stars are powered by a nuclear reaction that release energy. Which statement describes the nuclear reaction? Nuclear fission, no. In star, there is no fission. There is a fusion reaction. Convert hydrogen into helium. Smaller element will be converted into the bigger one, not the other way around. Okay, so it's option D that is correct. In question 40, the last question of this paper, a galaxy is moving away from the Earth at a speed of this. What is the distance between the Earth and the galaxy? Okay, whenever there is a question of expansion of universe like this, you have to use the Hubble constant. It's h naught is equals to v by d. You have to find d. D is v by h naught. Velocity you have to convert into meter per second, and this is 0, 0, 0, 0. And Hubble constant value you have to memorize. This is 2.210 raised to power minus 18 per second. Okay, so 2.210 raised to power minus 18. When you divide it, you will get the answer D. Okay, so that's it for today. See you in the next video.